In 1978, the Chinese government developed a plan to first achieve technological sovereignty and then become a world leader in science and technology. And boy, did they get down to business. Initially, millions of young people from the PRC were sent to the world's leading universities, mainly in Europe, Japan, and America. They were given a specific task: to gain as much knowledge and experience as possible and implement it back in their country. The government, for its part, has continued to increase funding for education and raise the status of scientists and engineers over the past 4 decades. As a result, a major study by the Australian Strategic Policy Institute in 2023 found that China leads in 37 of the 44 most important and tracked industries, with the potential for monopoly in areas such as, but not limited to, nanomaterials and synthetic biology. In this video, we will walk you through the most incredible technologies China has to offer and compare that to what everybody else has. I'm Nick, and today we don't cosplay Southpark. Folks, today we want to share with you our experience that will help you protect your privacy online. Did you know that data brokers can sell your information to scammers and spammers? Yes, your full name, email, home address, health records, information about your relatives can be available to anyone who may want to target you. That's why we started using Aura, the sponsor of our video today. Aura is an app that not only shows you who's selling your data, but also automatically submits opt-out requests for you. This reduces the possibility of hackers attacking your social media and bank accounts, and chops the amount of spam in your life by a lot. Aura also provides other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, all in one without having to download a bunch of different apps. All this plus more is available at a reasonable price and with simple settings. You may already have 1 or 2 of these tools, but not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door wide open. Aura is always on, doing the hard work for keeping you safe so you can focus on other tasks with a peace of mind. If you value your privacy as much as we do, then try Aura. Go to aura.com/prorobots and get yourself a free 2-week trial. All the details and the links are in the video description. Take care of yourself and your privacy. But first, another giveaway. Watch this video to the end to find out the rules of the contest. $50 certificate will go to the winner that we'll announce in our following videos, so be sure to subscribe and keep an eye for updates. And now, let's get it. You'll find Chinese universities in the top 50, 100, and 500 leading universities of the world. Education standards are constantly rising. Universities are given the most freedom, flexibility, and huge budgets possible in that country. They're also equipped with the latest labs, advanced tools, and equipment for R&D. To somehow slow down this progress, the US has been consistently imposing sanctions and restrictions, but the Chinese government says that this is a blessing for science and production, as it makes everyone work even harder. So what have scientists in the PRC managed to achieve as a result? Well, all over the world, the main criteria for measuring scientific and technological status of a country is the number and quality of research publications and patents. For several years, China has been the world leader in the number of applications for patents for inventions filed by residents of the country. In 2020, 1,444,000 patent applications were filed in China and only 500,000 in the United States. However, a large proportion of these only went to the National Patent Office, which has a potentially more loyal approach to examination than overseas patent offices. But if we compare the number of only those applications filed under the PCT procedure, which allows an invention to be protected abroad, China is still a strong first. Thus, in 2020, developers from China filed 68.5 thousand such applications and the US only 59,000. Comparing China to the US is often used in analytics. For example, it formed the basis of a thorough Harvard Kennedy School study on key technology sectors of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. These include artificial intelligence, 5G, quantum communications, and information processing, semiconductors, biotechnology, and green energy, among others. In the preface, the authors, referring to the longtime head of Google, Eric Schmidt, wrote, quote, "Soon we will be competing with a country with a larger economy, greater investment in R&D, better research, wider adoption of new technologies, and more powerful computer infrastructure," end quote. And here's what the report itself shows. China has already surpassed the US in a number of areas. For example, by the end of 2023, WeChat Pay had 1,133,000,000 users, which is an order of magnitude ahead of Apple Pay, with its 55 million customers in the United States. China got quite a head start of the rest of the world when it comes down to mobile payments. From small-scale vegetable stands to beggars on the street, everyone has a QR code where you can transfer money to, since no one carries cash in the country for many years now. Moving on, Chinese companies are unrivaled in facial recognition. SenseTime and Megvii have developed applications that can identify anyone in seconds in a country with a population of more than 1.5 billion people. Some sources say that the Chinese have also made serious progress in recognizing speech in different languages, including English. But the main attention in the world is now being paid to generative AI. Can the People's Republic of China do something against ChatGPT? Here, companies such as Flytech have already presented their analogs, for example, Spark 3.0, which is said to have surpassed GPT 3.5 in 6 parameters, from text generation to the ability to think logically, compute and program, albeit so far only in a, quote, Chinese language context, end quote. The developer of the most popular search engine in China, Baidu, announced in December 2023 that its chatbot Ernie had gained more than 100 million users in just 5 months after its launch. The company claims that Ernie is as good as OpenAI's GPT-4 model in terms of overall performance. It's Baidu, also called China's Google, that is leading the generative AI field in the country. In total, the Chinese government has approved more than 40 AI models in the first 6 months of 2023 alone, in an effort to catch up with American competitors such as OpenAI. This includes 14 new large language models approved for public use in just the last week of this year. Developing AI in the PRC is more difficult, as there are strict artificial intelligence regulations and any neural network must strictly comply with a set of rules. That said, the generative AI market in China has reached 14.4 trillion yuan, or nearly $2 trillion. An interesting fact, out of every $10 invested in AI venture capital in 2018, 5 came from China and 4 from the United States. Today, among the world's most valuable artificial intelligence startups, 7 are American and 3 are Chinese. In one of the most important areas of artificial intelligence development, deep learning, China has 6 times more patent applications published than America. The U.S. National Security Commission on Artificial Intelligence estimates that China has the power, talent, and ambition to surpass the United States as a world leader, unless current trends change. China is projected to spend around $14.5 billion on artificial intelligence this year, about 10% of global investment. That figure is estimated to reach about $26 billion in just 2 years. Moving on, China has a clear advantage when it comes to 5G. Now the country is already finalizing its network that will cover more than 90% of the country, which is as big as the United States geographically. At the same time, the number of base stations will range anywhere from 2.7 to 3.4 million according to different sources. That's about 80% of all 5G stations in the world, and more than 805 million Chinese use smartphones with this technology. In the US, there is no open data on the number of stations. The latest official statistics say that up to and including 2021, 100,000 stations have been built in America. The next industry is quantum technologies. The key areas here are communications, the so-called gold standard of security, and computing. China's superiority in quantum communications is clearly visible in patent activity. In 2018, China registered more than 4 times as many patents as the US in quantum security and cryptography. 517 versus 117. Since then, China has developed quantum communication systems between satellites and ground stations over 500 miles or 800 kilometers, as well as the first integrated quantum communication network on the planet for a total distance of over 1,800 miles or 3,000 kilometers. Looking into the future, it can be said that China is the closest to creating a quantum internet, which potentially will be virtually impossible to hack and which will greatly accelerate the exchange of huge amounts of data, becoming an important technological breakthrough. In terms of computing, China is steadily stepping on the heels of the United States. For example, in December of 2020, a year after Google's 53-qubit Sycamore quantum computer achieved so-called quantum supremacy, a research team at China's University of Science and Technology managed to surpass that milestone and 6 months later set a new record with the Zhangzhou quantum computer. Indicative of this rivalry is the following story. Recently, scientists from the PRC reported that starting January 6th this year, Origin Wukong, a quantum computer on 72 superconducting qubits, is open for remote access from any country in the world. It's already been tested by researchers from 61 countries, but the most users were from the United States. That said, US quantum platforms are closed if you're looking in from China. But Chinese scientists say that this doesn't change anything, since there should be no borders for science. The basis of free access to such resources is simple. Quantum computing is at an early stage of study that even experts in this field don't really understand what to do with it. If it's for science, then there's no question about it. But from the point of view of practical application, quantum computers remain a mystery that so far the US has more experience in dealing with it. Moving on, although the United States still leads in the field of biotechnology, in particular it accounts for 7 of the 10 largest life sciences companies in the world, China is intensively increasing its work in this field. For example, PRC scientists have significantly reduced the gap with the United States in CRISPR gene editing technologies and even surpassed in CAR-T cell therapy. An important detail, genome sequencing costs $100 in China, which is 6 times cheaper than in the US. Chinese researchers are increasing the number of biotechnology publications in scientific journals every year. In the years of 2019 and 20, China surpassed the quality of German and British publications in the Nature Index, and in terms of biotechnology patents, China increased its global share from 1% in 2000 to 28% in 2019. US share fell from 45% to 27% during the same period. Also, the PRC is rapidly increasing its share of the global biopharmaceutical market. For example, the largest number of people on the planet are vaccinated with Chinese COVID-19 vaccines, Sinopharm and Sinovac. The next area is space. China is the only country with its own independent space station in low Earth's orbit. Recently, 100% regeneration of oxygen reserves was successfully tested at Tiangong. Also, PRC scientists claim that their system is capable of regenerating 95% of its own water. In addition to reducing the need to resupply the station, these developments will also help in creating regenerative systems for the moon. And if you didn't know, China's got plans for the moon and they are just as ambitious as the US. While NASA hopes to send the Artemis mission to our satellite in late 2025, China's astronaut landing program is set for 2036. However, by that time, PRC expects to have already built a permanent base on the moon. What else is in China's plans? A demonstration of gigawatt-level power generation capability through its space-based solar power project by 2050, a manned mission to Mars in 2033 to 2049, and an asteroid exploration mission already next year. China is also rapidly closing the gap with the leaders in semiconductors, whose market is now estimated to stand at $500 billion. The US is gradually losing ground here, having reduced its share in production from 37% to 12% from 1990s to 2020s, while mainland China increased its share from 1% to 17% during the same period. By 2030, China's share is projected to rise to 24%, while the US share is projected to drop to 10%. At the same time, they're both far from the current leader, as Taiwan holds 50% of the market. A key indicator in the competition is progress in reducing the size of individual transistors to produce faster and more efficient chips. In July, China's Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation developed a chip built on 7 nanometer technology. While the US expected that the PRC would not be able to develop a chip smaller than 10 nanometers in the coming years due to American-imposed sanctions. China's breakthrough in green energy is also impressive. From 1% of solar panel production in 2000, the country has increased its output to 70% of global production. The US share over the same period fell from 30 to 1%, despite all the efforts of Musk to develop this industry, for the sake of which he even bought the unprofitable company SolarCity. But China is ahead of the world not only in solar energy. 4 in the 10 largest wind turbine manufacturers are Chinese, accounting for 40% of global production. The PRC also leads in the production of components and equipment for many areas of green energy. After artificial intelligence, China pays most attention to robotics. The hottest topic in the world today is humanoid robots. The US has Boston Dynamics, Tesla, Figure, and a number of other startups. China cannot compete with them on an equal footing, but they have their own thing going. For example, China has Walker, a robot from UBTech Robotics, which was recently shown as a QA worker at the NIO car factory. It's able to avoid obstacles, recognize and handle objects, communicate with people by voice, as well as light indicators. The robot was originally positioned as a home robot, but now, apparently, the developers have refocused on manufacturing. Also available in China is one of the first commercially available humanoid H1 robots from Unitree Robotics, which we looked at in our previous video found in the description. You can buy it, and not just the H1, but also, for example, the Fourier GR1 robot from Fourier Intelligence. They are based on walking exoskeletons for medical rehabilitation and are already mass-produced. There are also robots that copy human appearance from X Robotics. They occupy a significant place in the Chinese Museum of Science and Technology. We have a video about them as well. Check it out in the description below. China is planning to mass-produce advanced-level humanoid robots by 2025. This was officially announced by the country's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology. CloudMinds Technology is a Chinese company that has set out to epitomize the integration of cloud-based artificial intelligence with ground robots to enable real-time data analysis. The company has a long history of successfully selling service robots, including humanoid ones, domestically and internationally. And Xiaomi is exploring the field of robotics with its CyberDog, robotic pet, and Cyber1 humanoid robot concept. The future of both robots is unclear, but apparently the company prefers to have these technologies in its arsenal. And XPeng should not be forgotten either. The company has a desire to enter the market of humanoid robots, although its priority is electric cars, including flying ones. By the way, electric car manufacturers also enjoy comprehensive governmental support in China. Thanks to this, dozens of young companies are present on the market, and sales of electric cars in 2023 in the country amounted to 25 million cars, while in the United States, only 10 million. China is also full of amazing fully robotic warehouses, and robotization of container ports is an agenda. Also, not only unmanned cabs, but also autonomous flying cabs, including inner-city cabs, are being introduced here. China also has plans to create smart cities. The most incredible drone shows are organized here. And by the way, DJI is almost synonymous with drones now. Some of the most advanced drones for a variety of applications, from videography to cargo delivery, are developed and manufactured in China. In the field of four-legged robots, there's a real battle going on in China between two manufacturers, Unitree Robotics and Deep Robotics. Both companies offer their robots for both entertainment and serious industrial applications. They're also being tested even by the military, which, by the way, the US is trying to do as well. And what about industrial robots? According to the IFR report for 2022, over 500,000 industrial robots were deployed globally. 73% of the new machines were deployed in Asia, 15% in Europe, and just 10% in both Americas. The largest global market in terms of the number of industrial robots deployed over the years remains China, where more than 290,000 units were installed. So far, the share of Chinese manufacturers here is only 30%. The rest of the robots are supplied from abroad. But the government supports the development of this area so much that the share of domestically produced robots should be at least 50% in the near future. The main competitive advantage so far is its low price. At the same time, the weakest point is its software. Can China ever become a leader in the field of industrial robots? Today, manufacturers from the PRC are in third place after their Japanese and German counterparts. At the same time, the largest market for these robots is right at their doorstep. What do you think about this report and this topic in general? Share your thoughts, let us know what you think in the comments below. And now, time for the giveaway. $50 certificate to the lucky winner who will be chosen by a random comment picker and of course, follows the rules. Here they are. A. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Instagram. B. Answer the following question in the comments. According to the famous song, how many bicycles are there in Beijing? Let us know in the comments what you think is the answer and we shall announce the winner in the following videos to come. So subscribe to our channel for more content like this and more, and stay tuned for more news from the world of high tech.